Hi guys, I apologize for not making a video in a while. I've been busy, like I said before, but I promise I'll stay consistent. And this is my first commitment, posting this video, and then I'll be posting another video that's kind of different, and you'll see. But let's get to the review for today. Killers of the Flower Moon, which is a phenomenal film. You already know that. It's by Martin Scorsese. What more could you say about that? But I will be dissecting it even more and discussing the specific things I liked about it. Per usual, the acting was great, especially Lily Gladstone, which I'm not familiar with, which makes it great because I'm not familiar with her. Leo, De Niro, I know how they are, so I'm not really surprised. But yeah, phenomenal acting from them. Other viewers say that the runtime is justified, and I kind of agree. In order to tell this story, you need to be in the minds of the character. You need to understand their perspectives and why they make decisions. So it needs to be as long as possible without any filler. And I think this movie didn't have any fillers. Also, a side note, this movie was originally it's based on the book, which was the perspective of the FBI agents. But I like how, in order to really understand the whole environment of the settlement or the reservation, you have to be in the minds of the two family members that are really in the middle of all this. Instead of that perspective of an outsider, you need the perspective of an insider, which is a great choice on Scorsese's part. The court scene, which I realize happens a lot in movies nowadays with Oppenheimer and more, I guess. I don't know if it might get a little bit tiring later on, but for now, I still like court scenes. But anyways, the court scene was a great conclusion that shows the characters' faults and them realizing their faults, and basically just them kind of summarizing the movie in a way, but in an interesting way, not in a boring way. But I just like that court scene, and it just solidified their faults and them realizing the mistakes they've made. And by they, I probably just Leo's character. And I liked how when Leo's character died, his daughter died, my bad, not him. When his daughter died, that he switched sides, and that was his last straw, and he had enough with the exploitation from his uncle, which was a great touch to his character. But he wasn't redeemed, which was also nice too, because he is still evil. Even though he was manipulated in a way, he still chose to do it. He still was in pursuit of money and committed all those crimes. So he's not completely scot-free, but I'm glad that he admitted his faults to the court. Also, a nice little detail they had. Another reason I like this movie is because they weren't really straight up with some details. Like, for example, this part where you see him giving medicine to his wife, but then he's poisoning a little bit, making her slowly die, even though he says he loves her. And it never really straight out tells you what he put in there. Maybe it did. I probably didn't hear it. But from my perspective, it didn't really tell you what he put, which was a nice touch, very great. It wasn't just like, oh, I put this in it. It was just like did he really poison her, or what did he poison her with, that kind of thing. And I like that open-endedness. And Scorsese's talking in the end, his conclusion to the story was phenomenal. I don't think I've ever seen him in his own movies. Maybe I missed it before, but I don't think I've ever seen it. Just seeing him in there and talking made it sound more heartful and more like a personal project that he had to let out, which was great. And also, I think in an interview that I saw, he said that the story is not about who did the murders, but who didn't, which was a great line, just showing that the whole city is corrupt, especially the white men and the people that help them, and how it's corrupt and no one's really innocent. Well, the Indians are innocent, but you know what I mean. The foreigners, you should say white people. I'll just say the white people aren't really innocent, and I like how it shows that with what he said there. And another nice touch that they added, and my final point to this movie, is how they compared this to the Tulsa event, which everyone knows about. I don't really have to explain that, but it is comparable. But the difference is that the people in the reservation, exploited them slowly through inheritance, and rather than just attack them. Right? They're which I think is probably worse, because they married into them, had kids with them, just so that they could have money, which is psychologically worse and just completely bad. But I like how they compared those two events, which were both bad, traumatizing, but compared them and showing that their perspective, even though they weren't as brute force as the Tulsa event people were, they still were evil in a way that they slowly gained their trust, manipulated them just to exploit them for money. And yeah, that is my review of the movie. I will post videos soon, and I'll see you guys soon.